Hello guys and welcome back to the Cloudology channel. Today I got a quick video for you about storing some AWS credentials. So typically in AWS, if you're working across multiple different environments or accounts in AWS, you can have different profiles that correlate to those different accounts or even different users in the IAM users. So um, we're just going to jump straight into it. Basically how I got here was I searched for the service IAM up here. Brings me to my own user's IAM page, which right now I'm under my root account. So ideally, in order to do this in a more secure way, you want to specify a user with a certain amount of permissions to generate this key for. But since I don't really use AWS all that much, um, I'm just going to do it under the root account because I don't have any other accounts set up right now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new access key by pressing this button. Now, obviously, by the time you watch this video, this key is going to be destroyed. And this is the reason why I pre-recorded the video, because this access key grants access to my root AWS account, which is very bad. So if anyone were to use this key and provision a bunch of resources under my billing account, I would get charged an exuberant amounts of money. So you want to protect these files as much as you possibly can. So essentially what you're going to do is going to create a key for you, and you can download your key file, which I would absolutely recommend just so you don't lose it. Store it in a safe place. Make sure it has the permissions are locked down on it so no one can read it other than the current user. But for this demonstration, I'm just going to show my access key. And so I'm going to take these values and I'm going to go to my console, which is right here. So I haven't set up AWS CLI on this computer at all. So you can do this one of two ways. You can take these credentials right here and use the AWS configure command, and it'll ask you for your access key ID and your secret key and stuff like that. However, I am going to use something a little bit different. Let me zoom in here for you guys. I'm going to control C this, zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see what I'm doing. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a directory called .aws, and I'm in my home folder right now. You want to be in your home folder. So we're going to cd into .aws, and I'm going to create a file using Vim called credentials. And basically this is going to open a file for me. And AWS profiles are laid out in a specific format, right? So typically your default account is going to be called default. If you want to change the name of your profile, you can change it to whatever you want. Default is just normally what AWS uses by default. You can change this to, something like root account, for example. Root. You can just change it to root if you want. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our file and we're going to add some parameters to it. So we're going to add your access key ID, and then we have to add the secret key along with that. So it's going to look like this. So this file has to be laid out exactly like this. Okay. So obviously what we're going to do is we're going to take these generated keys right here. First, we're going to take this access key ID, and we're going to put it in the access key ID space. And then we're going to do the same thing for this guy right here. And this is our secret access key. So this is the one you really don't want anyone else to see. And so I want to note while I'm in here, you can also create other profiles as well. So you can create like, I don't know, like a management account profile. And that can have different access key IDs, relating to a different user, relating to a different account, relating to whatever use case you might need. And I can go more in depth on this stuff later on down the line. But so there you can see I have two profiles. The management account is obviously, it doesn't have any credentials, so it's not going to work very well for us. But what I can do is right quit that, and then I can make sure that my credentials are actually there. So Essentially, what that tells AWS when you're using Terraform specifically is that, hey, um, I'm going to read from this file and I'm going to basically tell you which profile I want to use. So when you're using Terraform, I don't have like a Terraform example right now, but if you go watch my Terraform video and how I downloaded that JSON file from GCP to manage my credentials, well, in AWS, you can do it a little bit differently. Your credentials are typically user managed. So when you're interacting with Terraform and you want to use some kind of CLI access for your AWS account to provision resources for Terraform, right? So, say you have a Terraform account user and you add the profile, just like I showed you, into your credentials profile. What you can do is you can export your AWS profile. And for our cases, it's just going to be root. And you can also export your AWS region, which will be, we can just do US West 1. So Terraform, if you set up your providers correctly, which I'll show in another video, but Terraform will read from your AWS slash credentials file in order to read your secret access key and basically expose it as an environment variable. So it is not accessible to anyone but Terraform at the time of build. So if you're wondering how to look at those credentials or how to use those credentials in a little bit more secure manner versus, pasting them directly into your Terraform code, which is, you should not do, or even reading from a file if that file gets moved around. If you export them as variables from an AWS profile, makes things a lot easier. So obviously this key is going to go away by the time you see this video, but I just wanted to show you guys that since I have never set up AWS on this computer before, so I didn't have a credentials file. I just created it by hand. Like I said, you can also use the AWS CLI to do this. Every resource, every link to every resource I used is going to be in the description box below. Also, I wanted to give a quick announcement, or not announcement, but a quick plug, if you will, to Get Money Coding. So if you're willing, if you want to learn how to code and you come from a blue collar background like myself or like Fido over at Get Money Coding, I would highly recommend checking out the link in my description below. And if you want to learn how to code and get money, that's the man you need to talk to. So check out the link in the description and tell him that I sent you, and you will learn how to code. So essentially what it is, it's just a monthly subscription service. I believe the price right now is at $200 a month. Essentially, it's a direct one-on-one mentoring with both Fido and myself. If you're looking to get into cloud, or if you're looking to get into just web development in general, because making the transition from web development to cloud is a lot easier than going into straight cloud by itself, knowing absolutely nothing. So I do recommend a lot of people that they learn at least the basics of programming, like even web dev, to get into cloud first to understand how some things work. And this is a good opportunity to do it. There's not many people in the group right now, so you will have access to both me and Fido. Both of us have, pretty much built ourselves up from a non-technical background. Like I was a mechanic previously, and I was in the Army before. Um, Fido, he was, basically worked as a barback. He was, in food service. He was, a bunch of like service-oriented jobs, blue-collar jobs. And both of us have made it to this point in life, and we live a good life. So if you're interested in that, please check out the link below. Tell them I sent you. And with that being said, if you like this kind of content and you want to learn more about cloud, please subscribe to this channel. Leave me a comment on something you want to see. I am taking video requests. If you don't, understand something, I will do the work for you, and I will make a video that explains it as bare bones as I possibly can. And guys, make sure you like the video. With that being said, I'll see you guys next week with a new video, and peace out.